I want to talk about what's really going on with Bungie right now, why Destiny community isn't embracing Marathon, why trust in Bungie is all at all-time low, and what the recent delay means for all of us. Now, when Bungie announced Marathon in May of 2023, a lot of people felt betrayed but also excited because, mind you, remember, Bungie has been making Destiny for like past a decade, more than that now. But nevertheless, it was still a curious question. Is there anything else that they got cooking up in store? And Marathon was that. Now, other than this, there still were some people saying, okay, wait, what's going to happen with Destiny then in this case, if Marathon is on the way? And we were still trying to make sense of Lightfall back then as well with its release, and that just topped Steam's charts, but left fans confused by its slow pacing, filler story, and promises of, well, and I quote, "you'll understand over time," instead of forward kind of a momentum that you should expect, and just left so many questions on the table with that expansion. Then just weeks after, well, technically more even months after, because the delays and all, Final Shape launched, an expansion that many people enjoyed, and that actually hit strong search and raid race metric. But nevertheless, even all that success, Bungie still laid off the staff. It looked less like cost cutting and more like a shifting resources to Marathon, at least at the time, and that's where the belief that Marathon killed Destiny 3 took hold. It wasn't the game itself, it was the choice to spread the studio focus across side projects instead of making a proper sequel. So back in 2019, Bungie asked kind of a question: what Destiny 3 could do that Destiny 2 could not? And at that time, Destiny 2 was just like brand new on Steam, right? Most of us thought that, well, sure, show us what comes next. And we expected a big technical leap, fresh systems, a new engine perhaps. Instead, Destiny 2 just kept on going, ever expanding but never transforming, and now it's reached its limits. Vault space doesn't grow, core systems strain under new gear and subclasses, and meanwhile Bungie's leadership never truly greenlit Destiny 3 on top of that. They pursued smaller games, like Gummy Bears was actually sent to Sony now, Matter by the name of the game, well, that was cancelled, and other secret projects that we're now aware of. And while the main game, well, it held on. Still, some of us are hoping for an Edge of Fate expansion, Bungie's basically next upcoming Destiny expansion, and many are eager to try Marathon's alpha that at least they have not yet tried for themselves. And I admit the early builds was indeed rough. Static classes, empty zones, bare bones mechanics, and no narrative hub by the looks of things from other people's impressions on what they thought about Marathon. It felt like Destiny 2 vanilla all over again, as many mentioned. Super approachable but stripped of depth and the customization. And when you remove the things that gives a live service game staying power, player choice, engaging loot loops, rich story, you lose players. It just bleeds. That's why when Bungie and Sony announced Marathon would miss its September 23rd release date of 2025, I genuinely think it's the right call. In their own words, the dev team said they, and I quote, listened closely to our feedback and realized they needed more time to make the game reflect our passion. They plan to deepen survival mechanics, sharpen AI encounters, add rewarding loot and dynamic events, boost visual fidelity, expand narrative and environmental storytelling, and build new social experiences for solo and duo play. Over the next few months, they'll continue closed testing and share progress this fall. This delay echoes what happened with the Final Shaped expansion. That expansion actually hit its stride only after Bungie pushed it back to address major issues. Rushing Marathon now would repeat the mistake of launching a half-finished game and further drain goodwill. Compare this of how Digital Extremes handled Soulframe. Digital Extremes built trust by listening to Warframe community, fixing issues, sacrificing short-term profit for players' experiences, and then launching a new game with open arms. Or, as an example, look at CD Projekt Red after Cyberpunk 2077. They owned their mistakes, released massive patches, added DLC, and even produced an Edge Runners anime. Today, fans are hyped for The Witcher 4. Or consider maybe Square Enix with the Final Fantasy XIV. It failed at launch, then relaunched as A Realm Reborn with a focus on player trust, and it's now one of the biggest MMOs. Bungie used to preach this live service formula at GDC: first trust, then retention, and finally revenue. Now it looks like they're just stuck on the revenue part. They're trying to push Renegades as like a Star Wars style spin-off for Destiny, with no clickable destination in a directory on top of that, all while teasing Marathon September's launch, at least back then. That feels like a kind of a cash grab, not a commitment to quality. But if they use this delay well, Marathon could still be a strong game. The extra time can let them launch with multiple classes, full maps and more variety, deep weapon crafting, rich story missions, social hubs, maybe, well, perhaps a possibility, a raid-like challenge that feels truly high stakes on top of that. And most importantly, some ways include a story mode, campaign, even though that's quite unfeasible, since that would take a lot longer for this delay to happen. A year is not going to be enough. 2 years? Maybe. Just here's what Bungie needs to do first. First, over-deliver on content. Instead of drip-feeding new features, launch Marathon with everything ready. Classes, modes, maps, social hubs perhaps, and tools for solo and duo players. Second, make the next reveal count. Show side-by-side gameplay comparisons to the alpha, and let us see the clear upgrades in every system. Third, be transparent and data-driven. Use developer streams, 30 minutes packed with bullet points updates to walk through each change and the reasoning behind it. Fourth, integrate community feedback into the roadmap. Features like proxy chat, more loot rewards, environmental storytelling, and narrative hubs aren't a huge investment, but they signal that Bungie hears us. And thankfully, in some parts, they already kind of confirmed that indeed some of this is going to be making an appearance due to this delay. Fifth, align the new release window with Bungie's fiscal year, say perhaps March of 2026, so the game launched polished with solid marketing and hype. But nevertheless, it is a little concerning. Releasing that close to Grand Theft Auto 6 is quite a risk. Due to Grand Theft Auto 6 now coming out in May of 2026, there's a big possibility that this game may get forgotten completely, but we'll have to wait and see for that. You know, the clock is ticking. While Marathon cooks, there's new competitions waiting. The Cube is openly targeting Destiny fans, even naming Bungie's game in tags. Extraction shooters like Arc Raiders are gaining traction. When players feel ignored, they move on, and some ones already have. That's why the delay is a chance to rebuild trust, not with the corporate slogans, but with the real tangible improvements. The tank of goodwill at Bungie needs refilling. Only by under-promising and over-delivering can they earn back the community's faith. If the next Marathon reveal leaves us thinking, wow, that's unrecognizable from the alpha, they will have taken the right path in that case. They'll show that they remember lessons from the final shape, Cyberpunk's recovery, and Final Fantasy XIV's resurrection. They'll prove that they put quality and community before quick revenue. In the end, Marathon can still be great. It can deliver intense, raid-like FPS combat, where every run feels urgent and rewarding. But it needs more polish, deepened systems, and a genuine partnership with players. Bungie needs to keep listening, keep iterating, and let's see a game that makes us say, yes, this is what we have asked for. Otherwise, this delay will only be another missed opportunity, and worse yet, perhaps maybe even complete cancellation of Marathon. Alright then guys, thank you so much for watching, like and subscribe. See you guys all, and have a wonderful day.